John Early here, encouraging you to accept your role as an economic hero. Our long-term growth rate continues to plummet. The last 30 years grew at the slowest rate since the 30-year period ending in 1939. 91 through 2020 will be even worse. We need heroes who know what to do. To help figure that out, imagine yourself as one of the titans of capitalism. Imagine owning 500 businesses that generate billions of dollars of revenue. The more you grow your businesses and the economy, the bigger the economic hero you are. You could plow all that revenue into growing your businesses and have $0 of income for tax purposes. Or you could pull up to $1 billion of revenue out of your businesses as personal income. Of course, you'd have to pay tax on it. The heroic tax policy you need to find is the one where the decisions that maximize your long-term wealth as a billionaire also create the most benefit for society. We've had weak growth the last 30 years. Let's pick out a year of great growth. Consider 1941. The 17.7% was the second fastest in U.S. history. You've probably already thought that strong growth was because of the war. But Pearl Harbor wasn't attacked till December 7th, and the federal budget in 41 was a modest 11% of GDP. Ramped up spending for the war started the next year. To see the impact on growth in 1941, we'll look at the tax schedule for 1939, because when billionaires like you look at their marginal tax rate and make decisions about how much revenue to plow into growth and how much to take as personal income, it takes about 2 years to show up in economic growth. But first, we'll review how the 2020 schedule works. At about $648,000 of income, you'd hit the top tax bracket. Your average tax rate would be about 26%. On every additional million you pull out, you owe $370,000 more in tax. To compare this schedule with the one leading to the best growth, the tax rate has to go a lot higher. We also measure income in multiples of the previous year's GDP per person. The dollar figures are now on the top. In 2019, the economy produced about $65,000 of goods and services for every person in the U.S., which equals a multiple of 1 down here. In the schedule for 39, GDP per person then was $713. Brackets adjusted by GDP per person have a stronger relationship with the economy. The combination of standard deduction and personal exemptions meant almost all workers paid 0% income tax. Income at 10 times GDP per person would put you in the 9% tax bracket. Today, you'd already be in the 37% bracket. The average tax rate in 2020 crosses the average rate in 1939 at 163 times GDP per person. So if you had $116,000 of income then, or $10.6 million today, you'd pay 36.3% of it in tax. But then the marginal rate was 62%. So thinking about a 62% rate with your multi-billionaire hat on, you could plow $1 million into growing your businesses, or if you pulled it out, you could keep $380,000 after tax. With $1 million, could you grow the value of your businesses more than $380,000? If so, you plow it into growing your businesses and our economy. All these brackets are additional points of incentive to grow businesses and the economy. The top bracket of $5 million had a 79% marginal rate. Nobody paid it. The tycoons that could have taken that much income were growing their businesses and the economy instead. The $5 million top bracket was our best tax policy ever. It lasted 6 years. In multiples of GDP, it would be $455 million today. The top bracket appears to lead growth by 3 years. Using that lead time, these are the 6 years influenced. To be a hero, we need to elect politicians who will cut marginal tax rates for the working class, lower the average tax rate on income up to about $1 million, and most importantly, raise marginal tax rates and brackets on income above that. Next time, we'll see how President Reagan's first tax cut improved growth and why his 1986 tax reform led to the weakest 30 years since the Great Depression. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss it. You probably know someone who should see this. Go ahead and share it.